welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm Ryan Houlihan, and today I'm here with
Trevor, Carlee,
Neil McNeil,
and Ian Carlos Crawford, and today we're here to discuss Magicians Season 1, Episode 7, Mayakovsky Circumstances. But before we get into the episode, Neil, it's your first Magicians episode. One, have you read the books? And two, do you want to tell us how you got into the series?
Yeah, so actually I never read the books. Back when I was an intern at Geek and Sundry, Felicia Day's production company, Levitt actually sent advanced copies of the book to us, and I remember picking it up going, that seems interesting, and then just never getting to it. But I'm a huge sci-fi girly, both, the genre and the channel, and I remember seeing previews for this show called The Magicians, and I was like, that sounds so familiar, and these people are so hot, I want to watch this. And then, of course, I just fell into a rabbit hole, so.
Yeah. So did you start, from the first season?
Oh, yeah. Like, watching Shake It Off happen in real time broke my brain. I was like, a TV show can do this? This is so ridiculous.
I always say I'll never get the feeling back of live TV that the last time I ever felt it was the Mad Men finale. And, after that, TV never existed. But I will say, The Magicians gave me that old spark of, oh, maybe I can feel something again. Maybe there's a dragon to chase here, And ultimately, I do think it is a show that benefits from streaming. But you're right. There were some moments live where you're like, ooh, TV, man. It's not like the movies.
So this episode, I forgot this happened, in my brain, this happened, towards the end of the season.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta own up, I can't stand Mayakovsky. I really can't stand him. He's such a little prick. And
the character is super effective because I don't think you're supposed to like him.
Fair. And I do like when he gets a little bit of tenderness, but other than that, I don't think he's fun to watch. I'm just man, what a dickhead. I would have thrown a fit if I was one of them at his thing where he's when he slaps Quentin, I was like, motherfucker, I would have thrown at least one of those nails into his leg or something. Don't hit me. But I mean, yeah, Ryan, I think you're right. That is the point of the character. He's not supposed to be this fun, likable guy.
He's supposed to be very unpleasant. Which is his Russian, French, German accent.
Yeah. That was good. So we open where the last episode left off with the Breakbills kids having turned into geese and flying to Antarctica. But let's talk about the Julia plot, because then we do go to Julia. So we'll just expedite the Julia of it all. And there's not that much in this one.
Ian's get it out of the way.
Yeah. It's all always so bleak. So we open on the last episode, it seemed like she called the police and then didn't hung up, but I guess she did call or they brought her in because she was covered in blood. Cop tells her she's free to go. She said your sister's here. I actually did not remember ever meeting a sister of Julia's, and I was like, oh, is it gonna be Marina? I couldn't remember.
Me too. I was like, what?
Yeah. But then it is her sister. And we get a little bit more of Julia backstory. We do learn that her dad had addiction issues. And clearly they're going for that metaphor, right? That's kind of what they're going for with Julia.
Yeah, she's furiously ripping cigs Kristen Doty.
I don't have a problem. Yeah.
It's I'm fucking fine. You can tell how I'm not fucking not bad. It's
it really is.
You're we get it. We get it.
Girl, you're not convincing us. And you're definitely not convincing your sister.
We hear ya.
So it's what is she? Did we know this beforehand that Julia came from a rich, influential family? Did we know that? No.
I think we got got that there were people of privilege. We did clock in the first episode it's very clear that they're people of privilege and that they're not conscious of that.
So yeah, we learned that her boyfriend, who does not remember who she is, had called the family a month ago. This first season, there is a little bit of we just breezed right by that because she tells her sister, he doesn't even remember who I am. And the sister's okay, anyway,
yeah.
I
took that as her. I haven't watched the episodes between the one I recorded with you and this one. And so I couldn't remember if this scene had already happened with her and her boyfriend, where she's like going up to him and he didn't recognize her. But when her sister breezed past it, I just kind of like took that as her sister basically just like, you're crazy and I don't know, whatever you're saying is nonsense anyway. So like, she's not putting anything to what she's saying.
That's fair.
Plus, I say self-pitying shit like, I'm the worst person in the world. He doesn't even remember me. Like 3 times a day.
That is also fair. And the sister says what? The mom like wants to institutionalize her or will be putting her like in an institution.
That she knows 10 judges she goes to the opera with who are willing to put her away. And it's like, okay, we get it. You're rich.
Full Britney Spears. Just like, we're just going to enslave you. There's your choices.
Yeah.
Because it's weird because then the sister's like, but I have a place you can go. And it's like, well, wait, is that any better? Like, it feels like she's insinuating. I will own up. I don't remember this. Like, I don't remember where this goes.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
Yeah.
In my brain, she's just like with Marina and the Hedge Witches all first season. Like, didn't realize that ends so quickly.
Yeah, her story is really all over the place in season 1 to a point where, because this is my 3rd time rewatching, and I'm like, I don't remember. Like, even the second episode, I was like, oh, I forgot about that. I forgot, because her story goes in such a direction, so much so, I don't know, I'm not gonna spoil it, and you can cut this out if you want, but like, just her walking into her apartment, I get PTSD, and I won't say why, but I'm like, just watching her in her apartment, I'm like, oh my God, can we not be in this story right now? Can we go to the future?
Yeah.
It's like that one shitty bathroom in the Summers house. That one
Yes.
really dumpy looking yellow bathroom. Nah, we don't have to go in that bathroom. We'll use the downstairs one.
Yeah, the thing I said this about Julia in our last recording, that like the thing they do well with her, I don't love her story and how like it feels like it's its own show. Like it doesn't like interconnect enough with the like main Break Bills folks for me, but I do think it does a good job of like, Julia is a fuck up. Now we know she's like a privileged rich girl, but also like we're now learning that like there's addiction issues in her family, and like they do a good job of making her nuanced in like, she's kind of a dickhead too, but also I still feel bad for her. And like, I do want her to get a break, but she's not getting a break at all. And I do think that's good writing, right? Where it's like, she can be an asshole, but also I feel bad for her.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
I mean, Neil, you have written for TV. I feel like some like lesser written shows kind of would just have her be like an asshole, right? Like there wouldn't be like...
You have to get the audience rooting for them somehow, and like they knew at this point, they were like, we are going to integrate her, spoiler alert, into the main storyline further down, like seasons 2, 3, 4, but they couldn't do that in season 1. Like, you can't just like start everyone off in the same place. You have to kind of earn that with them. So putting her through all of this, it like, for as annoying as it is, and like, you know, as eye-rolly as like, oh man, I just can't catch a break, it's like, well, yeah, you're supposed to go through all this to then eventually catch your break, and everyone's like, oh, that's great, I'm so happy for her.
Yeah, I think they wanted to give us levels and like places to be that weren't at the school, and like they wanted to give us like a grounding because it's urban fantasy, and if it's all at the school, then it's not that urban.
That's true.
But at the same time, it's like the writers are not having any fun over here. Like, they can pretend that they are, but like their hearts are not at Julia's cigarette coffee table or whatever. Their hearts are at the magical Antarctic goose sex.
Yeah.
So
the problem with Julia's story is that you're shooting Vancouver for New York. Like, you can't do anything. That's why you're at the damn apartment all the time. You're just like, well, we're going to talk about all these New York things while we're sitting on our standing set because it's too expensive to shoot outside and pretend like we're in New York.
Yeah. We're going to be in an alley, by the way, which there are maybe 6 alleys you can hang out with in New York. They're going to be at all of those alleys, and they're going to be talking about tattoos, man. And it's like, it's not giving. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we're all okay, because I thought I was the only one. I like Julia, and of course,
we just got to get through this.
Yeah, it's like, because I don't want to seem like I don't like her, because I do like her. Just right now, it's like a little bit of a slog. But so we then we get the geese. They are at Mayakovsky's place, which I felt like was the Break Bill set, just like gray.
Oh, it was absolutely redressed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
They are not building an entirely new set for this one episode. They're looking around going, what subtle things can we change so that we don't have to spend any more money?
Yeah. Let's change the color grading.
Yeah, it was essentially a bottle episode through and through. Like, there were no exteriors throughout this entire episode. Like, they reached the point of the season where they're like, we have to stay on our sets.
This is Ian. This is when they started doing dances like the prom at the Bronze, but then not saying that they're at the Bronze, being like, we're at the auditorium, and it's like the auditorium that is shaped exactly like the Bronze. Interesting. Same windows.
We had this discussion for the Homecoming episode because it clearly is the Bronze, but is not supposed to be the Bronze.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting because if you pause any frame of it, it's obviously the Bronze, but in motion, they're clearly like, it's like when Julia Louis-Dreyfus was pregnant in Seinfeld and they always had her carrying things. They're like carrying something in front of the Bronze sign. Like, it's
like
really
the pool table's there if you look hard enough. Like,
it's a pool table in the middle of the dance. Okay,
no, it's a punch table, we swear. With just some balls.
It's decoration.
Penny does not want to talk to Katie. I also will say Penny and Katie this season, it's a lot of this. And I'm like, this heterosexual angst is just like not doing it for me.
I don't want to be straight anymore.
I don't mind it with Quinn. I mind it a little less because I'm charmed by his awkwardness. But like Penny and Katie aren't really like, I don't know. I'm not like, I do like them eventually, but for me, they're kind of the weakest link.
It's interesting too because go ahead.
No, go right ahead.
I was just gonna say Penny to me is very. I have such a love-hate relationship with him. Like, I really enjoy the character, but for the longest time, I'm just like, get over your trauma, dude. Like, whatever is causing you to be angry all the time is really rough to watch. And there's a transition where he's not just angry all the time, and unfortunately, it's a whole thing. But like, it's like 2 or 3 seasons where I'm like, fuck, man, you are always mad at everybody for everything. Like, calm down.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. And like, you know, we can rag on like Buffy and Angel or like Buffy and Spike, but like, oh boy, they're back and forth like 3 times an episode. And it's like,
but I'll say this, their dynamic works. I just don't think it works romantically. And I think that the characters know that. And yet there's reasons for them to keep like sort of being on that vibe, but I don't think that that's our vibe. Like they feel like friends. It's like Willow and Xander. It's like we're doing a lot of dancing, but every time we get close to this, it's actually like it's not good. Which is okay. I like both the characters. It's just like another thing that we're like, okay, that didn't work.
Yeah.
Next.
So we're not doing next.
Mayakovsky, you know, what is it? Someone says, I heard you were crazy. And he's like, you heard wrong. And he's like, I hate all of you. I hate all of you because you don't know anything. You learn magic like Parrot learns Shakespeare's.
Great quality in a teacher, by the way.
Yeah.
I was like, am I a better professor than this man? I feel like I am. Q goes to do a spell, but then Mayakovsky turns off their voices. He says, great magicians have magic in their bones, hearts, and dicks, or lady parts, whatever. Sure.
Great.
They're gonna have to do a nail spell. I wasn't quite clear on it till we got later. I was like, wait, what are they doing? But it's like
they're doing nails.
Yeah.
Isn't this a thing in, excuse me bringing it up for the millionth time this coverage, but isn't that a thing in Harry Potter too, where it's like a big deal, like you don't always need to use your wand, but like certain magicians, or they don't have to say the spell, they just do it, right? Isn't that a thing?
Yeah.
So like,
wand
sure,
magic,
Then
I think we got similar stuff in Buffy where like sometimes it's
That's
a whole
true.
production and everyone's in an outfit and we have like accessories, and other times we're just like
other time Willow's just mad and like flicks her hand and do a thing.
yeah.
Then we cut to, which is my favorite part of the episode, the Break Bills storyline, which is infinitely more fun. And I think once the show realized that Elliot and Margo were always more, like their like C plots were always more fun, the show gets way better. Once they're like, wait a minute, these are the fun plots.
When they're like, we have a star, like a star, stars were born. Team Rocket blasts off again.
And like, speaking of, Margo takes off her jacket and Jesus Christ, she looks so hot in like that like chain link bikini thing. Right.
I'm speechless.
I just, and her hair looks so good. She's got great hair.
Yeah. It's crazy that a person looks like that.
Her and Elliot are getting ready to go to Ibiza, and can one of you tell me, I'm still not sure the conceit of what is it that they needed to do? Why were they like doing the gin spell? Like they wanted to bring it to...
They're bringing a gift to the Bacchanal to basically just be like, thank you for allowing us to be here, blah, 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 let's party. Like, it's like an offering.
Okay. I wasn't like fully clear on why, but I was like, well, I'm having a good time.
It's the bottle of Josh you pick up on the way over.
Yeah.
Fair. We also meet Todd in this scene, who...
My favorite.
He's so cute, and like... It's like,
Ian's in love.
This is what he was doing before White Lotus.
I know, when he was on White Lotus, I turned to my wife, I was like, fucking Todd.
Such Todd behavior.
Yeah.
And I'm like very charmed by Todd immediately. Like, I love that he's like this very cute, very excited fucking dork. And like, but like also, I mean, because everyone on the show, he's still like fucking hot. Like, it's like he's supposed to be awkward, nerdy, but like, he could have it all day.
Baby, you got a stew going.
Yeah.
They are so mean to him, and I kind of love it.
He kind of loves it too. Like, let's not joke. He's so into it.
Oh, he loves it. Yeah.
I feel
he
like
wants, he wants mean mommy and mean daddy to stop.
Oh yeah.
And like, you know, so do all of us. Yeah. So I get it.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Todd is our insert into the show.
Yeah. Maybe that's what's so fun about the Todd of it all, is that he's kind of what we would be up to if we were given like an hour at the Physical Kids Cottage. We'd be like, hey, where are we going?
I'm like, ooh, Margo and Elliot are doing a thing. I'm going to tag along. Oh, they made fun of me, but I'm still into it.
But they're so funny.
Margo, the like voice she puts on when she's like, well, Todd, what happened last year is, and it's so good and mean, and I love it. And what does she say? Like, oh, they had to turn him into a pig, and oh, what was his name? It was Todd.
And then we ate him.
Yes. And the like mean cackling they do when Todd like leaves, they're so good.
So good. It's so specific.
It really is, yeah. And like, because like you said, Ryan, it really is like Team Rocket, because they're just like, look what we did. Ha! Like,
it's that thing where you're like, when you like pull away from your parents' house or whatever, and you and your friend were just lying to them, and then you're like,
they ask what they brought last year, and can one of you tell me, because I fucking love what Elliot says. I don't know if any of you remember. What does Elliot say they brought last year?
A literal bag of dicks.
Yeah. Working dicks.
Yes.
I was like, I mean, I would like to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
Where they sourced them.
And especially since they said it was boring. I was like, what? What was it?
Yeah.
That sounds really exciting.
I feel like I reference this show a lot. Do any of you watch Big Mouth, or have any of you watched it? I kept thinking of like, so the main hormone monster always has little dicks, and he's like, oh, my dicks, and they're like his children, and they're always like in his hand, and like that's what I was picturing, like a bag of those little guys.
This is what Ian thinks about all the time.
The bag of dicks.
Bags of dicks.
A boy can dream. Then we go to Antarctica, and okay, I'm gonna sound like a fucking downer again. The Antarctica is so like blue and gloomy, and then everyone being silent. It's just like,
it's the Frozen ride at Epcot.
It's just like a little
Norway.
Too dull for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. How'd you all feel? Neil, what'd you think of it?
I mean, like I said, it is truly just break bills redressed with a weird filter. So like, I don't love, like, even though this is the conceit of the episode, I would have much rather spent the entirety back at break bills with our kids, like doing this. Like, it would have been like, can we not bring Mayakovsky here? Like, I feel like even just like having the color palette be like what we're used to, like this was such a bleak and weird, and I get what they were going for with it, but like it just was not. I'm not a fan this whole like a plot, which is frustrating.
Yes. Trevor, what'd you think of it?
That's actually a great point, Neil. Like, I feel like they could have accomplished all of this by just bringing him to break bills and staying within the color palette and everything, especially considering like they're getting Alice and Quentin together. And I'm like, if you're trying to make this relationship flourish and have me feel warmth toward them, putting it in this dank situation is a weird vibe to go with. Like, why are we?
It's a thing that
this?
worked really well in the books, and I think they were really scared to let it go. And it was one of the few set pieces they were scared to remix or let go. And so I understand how it got to as far into the development and like being its own episode and stuff. But yeah, I think once you write it, you're like, is this a TV thing or is this a book thing? And I think this was a book thing. The experience of being in this dark, isolating place monotonously for a couple of chapters and then like transforming into having been an animal in a way that was uncomfortable and then sort of having this transformative animal experience that is comfortable and then like getting practical skills. Like this felt like a really visceral chunk of the book. But unless you're going to do a brutal concept bottle episode like The Body, and I don't think we're quite there yet, kids. So like it wasn't it wasn't, I don't think it worked as well as it could have worked, but I understand the development of like how I guess it got there.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm like, I want to be forgiving, you know, but it's like, why are we here? Why is it themed like Mr. Freeze? Nice to meet you.
I think, and no spoilers, but I think they do eventually, retroactively explain why Mayakovsky is there.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, that's like a reverse engineer sort of like it's a good, and the character is good in the book and stuff. It's just like the episode also has to work.
Right. Yeah. Like you said, it's like you can just change it to be, they didn't need to hold on to like that set piece.
We're making it up here, folks. We can make anything we like.
This is all make believe.
Magic.
I will say, I'm not always Alice and Q. I like better than Katie and Penny, but also I'm so used to how queer the show gets that I'm like, oh, this is so straight. Come on, like
get it out of here.
Yeah. But Silent Q and Alice somehow charmed me when he goes like, and like they're just kind of looking at each other. I love a yearning and a looking. So like,
why don't you two just fuck already?
Yeah. I did love that. It's like, sir, you are their teacher. Like, and what then? Like, Q does the nail spell. Mayakovsky is a grumpy asshole about it. Doesn't give a shit and is like, now do them all. But then he does, and it spells out dick, which I thought I did really like.
Yeah,
a lot of dicks in this episode.
Yeah. My note literally after that says, I forgot how much I hate Mayakovsky. Alice comes over and kisses him. And then they talk about mind control, right? I don't know. What do we think about because like I get the moral, but he's also not incorrect when he's like, oh, like you eat cows, like where's their like control? And I'm like, I mean, I guess. And these are frogs. It's not like it's like, I don't know. What do we all think? Am I just an asshole? I don't know.
I mean, I think there's a point where there is a difference between like killing an animal swiftly and eating it as opposed to fully controlling another person or another animal. And so I get where Quentin's like, isn't this questionable? And he's just like, fuck it. Do it anyway. It's kind of okay.
Neil, what do you think?
it's a personal ethics thing, and like I mean, I guess it's good that there's an educational facility, because if this is a thing people can do, I guess you should do it correctly and be encouraged to have some like oversight. I don't know. But I if it was me in this situation as a vegetarian, I can't imagine mind control and like enslavement is like, I don't know if that's this.
Well,
cool.
see, Ryan, you would have had a good argument with Mayakovsky. You'd have been like, "Well, motherfucker,
Well,
I'm
I
a
don't do
vegetarian."
that.
So
vegetarian. But I do have a leather belt because like the leather's gonna go to waste. So what am I gonna throw out some good leather or get a belt? You know,
like, I'm not crazy.
yeah, but like, come on. But I'm gonna have birthday cake at a kid's birthday party. I'm not gonna be like, there's eggs. Like it is what it is. But I think mind control can be over your personal line. I would wonder philosophically if the school is like, we will not consider you trained in magical arts for some reason unless you know how to do this and you never have to do it again. But also like, it unlocks a tool that maybe you never want to use. Like I never want to drive again for a number of reasons. So I don't have a license because I genuinely do not want to be put in the situation that I'm frequently put in where people go, well, the only solution is you'll have to drive. And I'm like, well, I literally can't. And then look, there's another solution that pops up. And you need it.
Neil, what do you think?
I mean, it's like the same way that I feel about gun control, where it's like you can have a license to do it, but you have to go through all of these like tests to make sure that you can do it responsibly. Like at the end of the day, there is no ethical reason to use mind control, so I don't think anyone should have that power. But at the same time, if the power is going to exist, it needs to be regulated and it needs to be, you know, controlled in a way that's like making sure that anyone who can do it is not going to go completely off the rails with it. So it makes sense that they would teach them how to do something along those lines. And then if you like sense that someone is, you know, probably going to use it for evil, like let's nip that in the butt while we can.
Yeah. I would also say I think it should be along the lines of how they do it in Harry Potter, where it's like, these are the deadly curses. They exist. Here's ways that you can prevent it from happening. Here's how to fight that. Like, here's how to fight brainwashing and mind control and everything, but like not actually teaching you how to do it. So it exists. Here's how people do it. If you're, you know, twisted enough,
dare to resist drugs and mind control.
Exactly.
Did any of you have to dissect frogs in school?
No.
We did pigs, and I did that thing where I was like, I'm a vegetarian, so I'm going to sit in the corner while my group does it.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I had to learn some like fucking diorama, but fine. Yeah. It was fine. I did that all the time back then.
Yeah. God, a pig. That I was like grossed out by the frog, but a pig.
And it was a pig over the course of several days. Like it wasn't just like a one-day thing. It was like, we're going to bring out your pig again, and it's like,
we're going to really get our fingers in there.
Yeah.
Do you know what's wild is in my high school, the honors science, because I was not good at science, I just did like the frogs. We did a worm and then a frog. The honors science class did fucking cats.
No. That is a domesticated animal. That is not.
Right? Isn't that wild?
Like, cats were
crazy.
Dogs, we literally bred to love us. So when we do bad things to them, it's extra traumatic. Right. But cats evolved themselves to be lovable. That's like literally their only evolutionary advantage. So you're taking something that was hyper targeted over millions of years to be lovable to a child and making them cut it up? No.
Right.
No. Cutting up a stuffed animal would be traumatic to me as a teenager or now. I wouldn't do that. That's crazy.
Because I remember the class walking by and the guy that I had a crush on, who was like the cool guy in a band, walked by and he like held it up to, but they were in like weird cat body bags. And I remember him like holding it up and me being like, what the fuck is that? And then later he told me that they dissected guts.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
No.
Disgusting.
Yeah, so I think you should be allowed to be like, I'm vegetarian and not do that. You just got maple syrup.
In case I'm ever in that situation again where I'm being forced to dissect an animal, I can be like, well, excuse me. We go back to break bills, and I love Margo saying, Bag of Dicks is sounding awful good right now.
Yeah.
Because they can't translate Arabic. Because they have decided to do a spell to make what, Trevor?
Gin. It's just gin, right?
Yeah,
like
magic gin.
Is it supposed to be an endless bottle of gin? Or is it just a bottle of magic gin? Because
I don't know that they specify.
When she was like, yeah, gin and tonic, a classic, I was like, over a magical bag of dicks? I'm very confused, like why a bottle of gin is like the thing now. Like,
yeah.
I think the fact that it's such a high level spell in this book that they realize they're like, oh my god, if we can make this magic gin, not knowing what it is eventually,
right.
Spoiler alert of it all, they just look at it and go, oh, this is something that hasn't been done before, not considering why hasn't this been done before, but they go, we are going to do this. It's the
Right.
kids who are in over their heads. Like, that is essentially the plot of this story, is that like these two dumb idiots who are just trying to be hot and fun are trying to like do something like so spectacular that it impresses everyone, when really it's like, oh no, like this magic is very powerful and very potent, and you need to be careful, like down to the T of like what you are getting into.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, the 90s Sabrina wants to go to the cool kids party, so she's going to go up to the book and pick something out. And it's like, every week we do this.
I just want to say, Ryan, when I'm actually in New York full time, that will be our goal, to just be hot and dumb.
Oh, I mean, wait, were we trying to do something else?
It's like, oh, let's go out Saturday and just be hot and dumb. Okay, yeah, great. And then a hot guy named Mike introduces himself. A thing that I love is we have started to give Margo her nuance, and I like that we see her being jealous. Like I love that, because this guy's hot and he doesn't give her the time of day because he's gay and got his eyes on Elliot. But I love that she's like, I'm Margo, hello, like,
Right.
Because I feel like also she's probably used to attractive men giving her attention, right?
Or even there's the phenomenon of like being a really attractive woman where you expect gay men to pay respect to you as a diva. Yeah.
Yes.
And honestly, go off, Queen. You're right. They should.
How dare he?
All of us would be paying our respects to Margo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Laying down a flower, like, oh, this is for you.
Laying down a bag of dicks.
I'd be like, how do I serve the queen bee?
Whatever you need.
So we go back to Antarctica, and I wasn't sure. So Mayakovsky realizes that Penny can do mind control and that he can travel. I was curious how he removes the tattoo, because that thing looked like it was just chopping off skin.
My assumption was that my very first watch through, I thought he was literally like Robert Rodriguez carving a chunk of his skin out. And then on rewatches, I think he was just scarring it up, so it was no longer an image that was recognizable for the spell to work.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because otherwise he would just have a whole circle of just muscles.
Yeah. And I don't know, it's season 1, so I'm like, well, whatever. Even if that is the case, we just breeze by that.
Yeah.
But then he does have a good line where, what does he say? Having that tattoo of being scared of traveling is like telling an eagle to fear heights. He wants to train him, and this is where we start to see Mayakovsky maybe is kind of a good magic teacher. I mean, I don't know. I was I do get where he's coming from, but also I get why Penny would want that tattoo, because he doesn't know how to use his powers and would not want to teleport himself into a volcano or inside of a mountain.
Yeah, this was a bit more of a psychological torture session for Penny in the book of the cost benefit analysis. I think we just kind of had to get there for plot reasons.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would want it removed or not. I'm pretty sure I would want it because I'm clumsy. I don't know. I forget stuff all the time. I'm not perfect. I am not, like we said earlier, I am not confident in my ability to own a gun.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I just feel
and have it on me all the time. No, what are you talking about? Oh, I'm just gonna intrude your thoughts a little because we're dating. Oh no, no.
I'm
like, well, Ryan shot his leg again. Ryan shot her leg again. And I don't know. I kept going back and forth because I would love that power, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also I would also understand, like you just said, Ryan, Penny is scared, and understandable. It's okay that he's scared. I don't know. I feel like I would have been train me first, and then we see where I land on power, confidence, and maybe then we can. But I mean, Mayakovsky wasn't gonna hear that argument anyway. And Ryan,
Mayakovsky's your dad who's I didn't buy you training wheels or a child-sized bike. Enjoy.
Figure it out. What's weird though is like, isn't that just meant to keep him like on Earth? Like the whole point of that was to keep him on Earth, and so like he could have done this whole training thing with him going into volcanoes and wherever his childhood home or whatever with the tattoo on. Like, couldn't he have?
But I think I mean by like training wheels is it's like, yeah, we could go to the post office and back with the training wheels, but with them off is a different skill.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't know that you're safe. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the training wheels don't train you for balance, right? Like they train you to depend on the wheels. You want the wheels enough so that you think, oh, this is how it will work.
Right.
You know?
And so Penny gets like, he starts testing, and is Mayakovsky doing like a shot every time Penny comes back?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes.
He's just drinking nonstop.
It's probably the best thing about his teaching method.
You're probably right. Yeah.
I think the carrot works better than the stick. Honestly, if every time I came back, my professor did a shot, I would be so fucking motivated. I'd be in and out, baby. Like,
I do like when Penny comes back and he's like, oh, I want to know a volcano. And he's like, oh, that feels like silly cartoony to me. I like that it's like played up that way instead of like, well, he could have died. Like, I mean, like you said, Ryan, and like in the books, it makes sense that they would play it up as more of like some kind of mental torture for him.
yeah.
But like, we don't have the time here. We get Q and Alice. I'm not 100% sure what's happening in this scene, but like they have those things, electrodes on their skulls, and they're like tied to these like fireflies, right?
Yeah,
It's
they're kind of mind
anytime-
control.
Yeah, anytime one of the bugs hits like the zap, like on like the it's like one of those like a bug lamp thing. So
Yeah.
anytime the bug gets zapped, they get zapped. So they have to make the bug go through the hoops to the other side without getting zapped. Otherwise,
It's actual torture.
Yeah.
Not even psychological anymore.
Yeah.
It's a magical game of operation with mind control and enslavement
fun?
and tiny beings tortured.
This is so fun.
I would not do well at magic school. I just wouldn't, because I would be like, I'm not doing that. No, fuck you. Like,
Yeah.
I would, but I would be good at the soft skills of magic. Like I'd have read all the books and be like hyper focused on them, but like the practical skills, like put a nail in a piece of wood, I'd be like, I have to go home.
I was gonna say, Ryan, I feel like you would be better at like the like studying and like learning.
Oh
part
yeah.
of it than
Oh yeah. All the planning, the organizing, the social stuff. I would have that all down. When it comes to executing, again, I could not pull the trigger of a gun. I just wouldn't. I would put it down and say, eat me to the zombie.
Yeah.
Go ahead. They like do get one of them to fly through. And I do like that Quentin is so awkward that he like goes to embrace Alice, but like embraces her like this way and just like grabs her boobs and is like, ugh, and he's like so awkward about it. And she genuinely doesn't care. She's probably like, oh, finally he's making a fucking move.
Right, yeah.
Like,
It's your bisexual boyfriend that's never dated a girl before, and like he thinks he's confident about the sex. With the boobs, he's gonna figure it out.
It is hysterical when he like zaps like unconscious. I crack up every time.
Yeah, and I like that Mayakovsky is what you think is water, but he's like, is that vodka? Like,
Yeah.
And then he tells them what, like, oh, now you have to like. He tells Alice that like if he could flunk Quentin and she would pass, and she says no. And then what is it like? They kind of have to get all of them through or whatever.
Yeah.
I do like when he yells at them and says, "Why are you both determined to be so bland?" Because I kind of was like, I get it. Yeah, he's right.
Yeah, that's me walking around Park Slope. Just with you people.
Right. I feel like I could see you be like, Ian, just fuck that guy or shut up. Like, just
Yeah,
But I don't want to hear it anymore.
Smoke him if you got him. The AMOC collapse is looming.
Katie and Penny have another angsty heterosexual moment, which is literally what my notes say, so I'm not even sure I know what happens.
They're talking about like her answering to Marina and all that and blah blah blah. Like, how do I get out of it? I'm so sad.
And she like puts down her wards. They like fuck again. Sure.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Have at
It's
it,
another
kid.
example when they're like cuddling in the bed. Like I think it was you that mentioned it, Ian, where they don't just really they're like cuddling together. I'm like, this isn't doing anything for me. I feel like this is not where this relationship should go.
Ryan, she said that earlier.
Oh, right. Or yeah. Like they should just be friends. Like, why are we?
Yeah, like what if we played Nintendo Switch?
Yeah.
You know? It's gonna be fun. What, pal?
Yeah.
We can still give each other blowjobs. It's
yeah,
just like it's
wrong
not
with that.
The amount of times I've said that in the past week, you'd be surprised.
Me and Neil's DMs.
Yeah.
So proud of my babies.
Mayakovsky then tells Alice and Quentin they have to go out in the snow naked, which again, I would have been like, I'm gonna get frostbite, fuck you, I'm not doing this. And like sat down and failed. Like,
I don't know, if I was young and hot and still in college and someone was like, go play in the snow, I would have been fucking on brunettes. Like, okay. I'm a goose. Like, whatever.
I'm a goose. Like the idea of you being on just a lot of drugs, but that's like, I'm a goose.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You know, pain is optional when you're 20 years old.
That's right.
This is something that I very much remember from the books is like the fox fucking. Ryan, that is like exactly how it goes, right? They turn into foxes.
Yeah, and there's fighting.
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh.
Yeah.
I do like that. I do think that's like, I don't know. It's just like like these are our main characters. These are like the couple you're supposed to be rooting for. And the first time they fuck is as foxes. And I just like saying that is ridiculous. Right. And that's why I liked that they did that. Cause like the show is ridiculous. And like when the show leans into that shit, it always works for me.
Totally.
Yeah.
Neil, what do you think about them turning into foxes and fucking?
I mean, if I'm going to do it as any animal, I don't know if I'd want to be a fox, but like, sure, why not?
Yeah, they seem like musky little wiry guys.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe that's somebody's thing.
But my whole thing is, it's like, now, do you have the mind of a fox, or are you completely still human and aware that you are having sex with a fox? Because that to me gets into like weird bestiality territory.
No, I
That's
think
a
you
fair
become a
point.
lot of fox.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of fox happening. That's why later he's like, the fox is in you now. It's like, now you know what that's like.
Okay,
Good
okay.
luck recreating it, honey.
Yeah. They also did, like, when they talk about being flying as geese, they were like, I remember what it felt like. Like, it wasn't just like, because obviously if it was just their human brains, it'd be like, well, of course you just did it. Why wouldn't you remember? But it seems like it's this transition back and forth where they're like,
And I think you can get stuck too.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like it's more Animorphs rules, not Animangus rules, where it's like Animangus, you're in full control and you can just like do whatever. So like if you're Sirius Black as a dog and you fuck another dog, that's it, buddy. Like you are into bestiality.
You fucked a dog, my friend. You fucked a dog.
God, that was a
in
very good
Halloween costume, like a freak.
God.
Me walking around
my
shaming the
God.
transphobic characters in that universe sexually.
How dare you?
I'm the freak. No.
Ryan. Neil, very good Animorphs comparison.
Very good. Nailed it.
Then we go back to Break Bills. They're working on the magic gin. Margo says it better make them fart rainbows. Elliot and the guy make googly eyes. And Margo, annoyed, is like, just go fuck. They do. And then we get the impression that they do it like all day because she has to do the fucking thing on her own, right? And I genuinely, as someone who is like all my friendships are very like, I love you, like blah, blah, blah. And I do get like friendship jealous. So I like seeing Margo because like, I do feel like in a lesser written show, they would have had it be, oh, she secretly wants to marry him, or like, oh, she secretly has a crush, but it's not that. It's that like, he is her partner in crime. And she's like, oh, fuck. Like now he's liking this guy too much. And like, he's not going to be my partner in crime.
Yeah.
And they finally come down from fucking. And I love that when she says Todd was more helpful. They do the thing, and the gin pops up, and it's a magic genie, not magic alcohol. I love Todd going, cool, and Margo says, shut up, Todd.
Yeah. I also love Todd running up earlier when she's like, Todd was more help than you. And he comes, she's like, don't come up. You're just a prop. Please stay back there.
I'm just name dropping you to make Elliot jealous.
Yeah.
Go away.
I love Todd.
Don't ruin
so
the
much.
effect.
Yes.
Don't make it like cutesy. She's trying to be stern. The djinn takes the hot guy and disappears. Margot's like, what the fuck? Todd knows Arabic. So he says that the djinn said, yes, mistress, I'll do exactly that. I like
this djinn, by the way.
Yeah. I like when she's like, that's fucking rude. It could read our thoughts. We learned that apparently she wanted Mike to go back to where he came from.
And
that's not all she said.
That's not all she thought.
Which I thank her for not only just saying that, because I do.
Yeah.
What we get later.
Yeah.
So she makes Todd come with them because he knows Arabic. He is now useful. I wonder if they wrote him to be a one-off character because, I mean, mild spoiler, but he becomes like a slightly reoccurring. I wonder if they were just like, oh wait, he was a lot of fun. Let's keep him around.
Oh yeah.
You're Jonathan.
Yeah, he's the Jonathan,
They
poor
go.
Jonathan. Every time I say it, I'm like, oh.
They go to the library, and Trevor, what do they find Mike doing?
Sucking on a knob.
Slobbing that
Oh,
knob.
he's into it.
They're
undistracted.
Get the gold plating off.
Yeah. It reminds. What's the movie?
Austin Powers.
Was it Austin Powers?
Isn't it Austin Powers? No.
Or
wait.
Dumb and Dumber. No. It's
basketball.
Basketball.
Yes.
What a journey.
I can't believe we got there, Trevor.
A journey through the blockbuster comedy section.
Yeah.
Second to the bottom shelf because they want kids to be able to grab it,
right.
but parents need to be able to see it. Yeah.
I think about basketball way too much.
Baseball's great.
It reminded me of that with her with the chrome on her lips.
Listen,
So
the locker room scene was very important to me.
Oh my god. It's so insane.
Because it's both funny, but also yes, so this is a scene again that I barely remembered where this character went. Like I was like, I forget. And then when we saw that he's possessed, I was like, oh right. But I was like, but I remembered him sucking that knob. That I
Oh yeah.
very
Specifically.
Yeah. And we learned that Margo actually wished for what, Neil?
For him to go back to where he came from and to suck on another knob. Which, hilariously enough, I did use the phrase slobbing on a knob earlier in the day yesterday before I rewatched it. So having it come back, and I was like, is this where it like ingrained in my mind? Like, I think so.
And I like that she gets like a kick out of it when she's like, oh, so literal. And like this big fucking smile on her face.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I
so
think
great.
she is me. I am her. That is all I aspire to be. She is me if I could pull the trigger on the gun.
Because right, like she's like not upset that it happened. She's
She's like, oh, it can get very specific.
Yeah.
I'm like, I love that. Yeah.
He's like, put the genie back. She's like, fine. Like she's so annoyed.
We go back to Antarctica. Benny and Katie are whatever.
Yada yada.
Does she hand him back something? Yeah, it really is like yada yada. Penny and Katie. Does she hand him something she stole? Is that what she hands him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
The professor. Yeah.
I wasn't like fully sure. This is where Mayakovsky. I do like that we see him soften, right? Like when he has to talk to Katie. I did appreciate that. It's like, okay, he also understands when it's like, you know, something terrible happened. He's not going to be an asshole about it. And I do like that
he only understands one thing. He understands pain, and he only appreciates pain, and nobody else. Like pleasure is he sees as like easy to come by. You just have to be an idiot and lucky. And like if you can deal with the hard bullshit, that's like what you've actually learned something. And like I do think that's true to a degree with life. And I think he looks at Katie and he's like, sometimes I feel similarly. Like sometimes I'm in a situation and I catch eyes with somebody and I'm like, we are the only people in this room who know what the fuck we were talking about. And you might have just done something rude, but it's fine. have a good night. I'll be here if you got to vent. But you know what I mean? Like, I get
You're
it.
right, yeah.
Sometimes you're in a room like that. And if I was in a room with Quentin's and Alice's and like these spoiled brats with superpowers, I'd be a little like, where my queer people at?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd be a little like, anyone of color? Oh, Penny, come on up. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be like, who is poor? Any of you? Because
Yeah.
like anything in life, a little dirt in your sandwich goes a long way to having like empathy and hardworking skills and like critical thinking. And I think he sees she gets it. Like she could sit here and be tortured to learn how to do a bunch of nails in a fucking Z formation, but she already understands the lessons he has for her. And I also think that's why he's like, you get it. You understand magic. You're clearly resourceful. You're going to be a force in the world. You don't have to go to school and they don't want you anymore. So no more cried over spilled milk. This is life. You got dealt a fucking bad hand. So did I. Sorry.
Yeah.
But we get it. Next. And like, I don't think it's the right response. That's not like how I would respond. But it is definitely, I felt like the moment where I'm like, oh, this character has a purpose, makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, isn't just here to be unpleasant. Like,
and I feel like
evil poop monster or whatever. It's like,
I do feel like Katie also appreciated it. Like you said, Ryan, like I also wouldn't react the way Mayakovsky did, but I feel like that worked for Katie, right? Like it's like I said that I'm going to use this phrase for like a third time in 7 episodes, but like game recognizing game. It's like he understands her and she understands him, and he delivered the news the way she needed it delivered, I feel like, right? Like that's like the vibe of her, and that like she wouldn't want someone like you or I, Ryan, who would be very like mushy about it or be very like, hey, I'm really sorry. Like being like super like.
No, I mean, that's why she had wards up. You know what I mean? And then she dropped them and she became vulnerable. And like, that was her deepest fear. And it came true. Somebody saw all of it.
And so I do like that he tells her like kind of to like be happy because she's free of Marina. Like he's like, your mother has died. You're still suffering. You are free of Marina, because that is like a big deal, right? It is. She's like been suffering, been angsty, and like going through it because of how like tied to Marina she is.
Not every bad thing that happens to you is just a bad thing that happened to you.
Right. Yes. And like, yeah, I do like that. She leaves because she can't go back to break bills because, you know, her mom's died and now they know exactly, you know, everything that she...
They don't care that her mom's dead.
Right. It also seems like a little brutal to be like, oh, your mom died and you were stealing. Oh, you stole. Yeah. So now you're expelled because your mom dying exposed that. Like,
yeah.
Should have killed her months ago.
Like, fuck. And I didn't remember any of this. So like she leaves and I really was like, wait, what? Like I didn't remember that. Yeah. I feel like I have no idea where Katie's story goes, even though I've watched this.
You'll remember.
It'll come to you.
She leaves. Penny enters her room, and I felt like that felt like the Post-it from Sex and the City. The like, what's his face leaves her.
I'm sorry, I can't. Don't hate me.
Yeah,
Aiden.
Right, Aiden. Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Wait, is it Aiden that leaves the Post-it, or I thought it was? Is it Burger? I think it's.
I sure don't know.
Oh, now it's gonna drive me nuts. But yeah, Sex and the City Post-it. Oh my god. Jack Burger, it's Burger.
Okay.
Oh, Burger.
I remember because he is a high impact role for not being in that many episodes, so he can't take his one thing away.
I don't
but
even.
It feels very Aiden coded.
I don't even remember that cat, but I only like vaguely watched Sex and the City. Is Burger? No, Burger can't be the guy in the finale that she like ditches, right? Who's that guy?
No, you're thinking of the Russian.
Oh,
Burger.
Right.
Burger is Ron Livingston.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Great eyebrows. Anyway.
That's all for when we start our Sex and the City rewatch podcast. We go back to break bills, and we kind of see like Margo is getting a little bit more okay with it, right? Like she's like dealing with Elliot having this guy. It does move a little fast.
Yeah.
And I do feel like I would be mad no matter who it was if like we are leaving for vacation and that's when you're like, oh, by the way, I'm not going. Like I'd be like, who's driving then? Because like we arranged travel arrangements and like we were sharing a room and like what the fuck am I gonna? I would be very angry.
Yeah,
but-
hey Dum Dum, if this is the love of your life, he'll be here in 2 weeks. Give you a little kiss and come back.
Yeah.
And I do like. I don't love how fast it moves because it is. I mean, we need to like speed it up for the plot, but like Elliot ditching her so quickly doesn't feel like doesn't feel like in the character. I don't know.
College, impulsive. I
True.
buy it. It's
Yeah.
not. Yeah, they didn't build up to giving us an emotional justification, but like Elliot's also kind of needy and like insecure. That's why he like performs the way he performs. I think their confidence comes from different places, and that's ultimately the biggest conflict in their relationship. Is that they're like pulling power from different sources, and
because I don't think I think you're right. Like his is more performative, and hers is. I don't think hers is.
His is a defense mechanism. Hers is a sincere belief.
Yeah,
and as someone operating with both.
So I love that she yells for Todd to join them. He is so excited. And Elliot says to her, make sure she hydrates and waxes. Mamas down south can get jungly.
Can I ask, do you guys want to see that party? Because I want to see that party.
Yes.
I want an entire season based around that party going horribly awry.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, it felt like, I don't know, it felt like both Eyes Wide Shut meets like The Other Realm or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it felt very like I don't know, like Bizarro World, but if Bizarro World was like a frat, that was like crazy. But I guess it's supposed to be like Ibiza, so.
For me, it's the last 3 episodes of season 2 of True Blood when like everyone was just
Oh,
Marianne!
Yes.
Hell yeah. Love Marianne.
Cut to Margo pegging Todd.
Yeah.
Yes, again, I would watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Remind me, but don't we do like see a McNeil party, don't we like go to one?
Yes, we will have quite a few memorable parties in our future. Sit tight, kids.
Great.
So she leaves with Todd. We see Elliot and Mike that night waking up. He goes to the fridge, and like because I watch everything with captions on, like as he's going to the fridge before it even started, it just says like ominous music. And I was like, oh, fuck, what's happening? And I did not remember this at all. We see the moth fly by, and one assumes he is possessed by whomst, Trevor.
The Beast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like is doing his bidding or something.
Oh, yeah. I never forget this because this guy coming around is like the beginning of just an unending spiral for Elliot, and I hate that it's so soon. Like I love Elliot, and him and Margo are just my absolute faves. Like they are the magicians.
Yeah.
But it is hardcore depression for Elliot from here on out, and I'm just like, fuck, I wish we had a little bit more fun before we dive down this hole. Every time he comes up, I'm like, go away.
You know, it's like those will they, won't they relationships, and then you get one where they're together, and you're like, yeah, these people are fun to watch together. Why are you ripping them apart again?
Yeah, his eyes glow blue, and he says he's coming right back to bed. Then we cut to Antarctica. The students are leaving, which I'm like, did we really have to fly there? And then we can just like walk out a door? Like
that? I saw the door. I was like, what? When that was possible? Why did we do this?
The whole time?
I mean, that is the tough thing at magic school, is that by the end it's like, yeah, we could have waved a wand.
Yeah.
But you had to learn. So
yeah, but we didn't want to.
It's a tough thing to get your diploma and be told like, you know, great, now everything is possible.
Yeah. Always was.
Oh
no. They're leaving, and he's like, Mayakovsky a little bit gives himself too much credit here when he's like, I've given your life purpose. And I'm like, all right. Let's like,
or maybe you're drunk.
Yeah, like let's pump the brakes a little bit on that back patting you're doing, sir.
Yeah. You taught them to be goose. Like,
yeah.
I can be goose now. Like, okay. But yes,
says,
his lesson was more about a life lesson and less about specifics, and that's cool. And everybody felt traumatized. Job well done, sir.
everyone leaves
We'll
traumatized.
all think about this for 20 years. Thanks a lot. Sorry.
He tells Alice and Hugh, live to prove me wrong, love each other, be honest and kind and faithful and happy, then come back here in 50 years with your perfect family and gloat over my frozen corpse.
That's what Ian says every time I leave his apartment.
Really is.
He's like, just so you know, the outside is our pain. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go.
You're like, okay, well, good seeing you, bye. They leave. Mayakovsky asks why foxes, and Quentin, the explanation there is a little like, oh, sure, whatever.
Yeah,
because they know.
Sure.
They know. And it's like, what the fuck does that even mean? Sure,
He
whatever.
honestly sounded so pretentious. He's like, because foxes know. I was like, shut up, Quentin.
It's like,
No.
say that
It was
again.
like, I read a lot of furry stuff. That's what I was into.
I'm into foxes.
God.
That's one fantastic Mr. Fox. I'll say that.
So Quentin says, you really are a great teacher. Mayakovsky says, I know. And I do. That is oh, fine. I'll take it. The Star Wars of it all. All right. We are I feel like we zoomed through this episode. I'm sorry. I feel like I was just like talking a lot.
This episode's a zoomer. It is. I mean,
favorite outfit, Ryan?
I mean, it's Margo and her like delicious, delectable, lovely packaging. I mean, my God, what science and magic? What hath you wrought? It is so special to me. Thank you to the Academy. I'm not a lesbian, okay, but I aspire.
Yeah.
We have eyeballs.
Yeah.
Incredible. Oh my God, what a star. I can't even believe it. So yes, there's that. Also, when Alice, again, not a lesbian, when Alice was in her like yoga pants situation, all I could think was like, I hope that's how I look on top of my boyfriend. And if not, my surgeon will be hearing about it.
You mean her all white ensemble while she's in Mayakovsky's? It hugs her in all the right places.
And she hops up on him and she's like, let me get that ass on you. And I'm like, yeah, maybe you should, Alice. Maybe you should put that thing where it's supposed to go. So I don't know. I thought it was tight. It fit her right. And I'm not usually a yoga attire girly, but I liked it. I liked it a lot. So
yeah.
It's like if oh God. Blanking. No, Emma Frost.
Yes.
Lived in my
She covered
neighborhood.
every inch of her body.
Yeah. If she lived in my neighborhood and had a Lululemon.
Neil, what was your favorite outfit?
I was going to say Alice's. I just like, again, like it just formed to her body so perfectly. Also not a lesbian here, but I just think her not to make her anything other than this amazing character that she is. Her boobs are the star of this show for me. Like, she is just, in every scene, it is just in my face. And I'm like, good for you, girl. Like, that is...
Very good for you, yeah.
She knows it. The costumer knows it. And everyone's proud. It's like Sydney Sweeney. It's like all the pieces are working. I love it.
Like, what are we going to do with you?
Because I love that, what is it, like episode 1 or 2 when Margo's like, well, I have a cute dress for you that'll show off those assets. Like, Trevor, what was your favorite outfit?
As I will respectfully decline to say Margo's, just so I don't sound like a creeper. Although it is fantastic. I do like Julia's costume weirdly in that like it just perfectly conveys this imagery that they're trying to get across, where she's just like smoking and her shirt's hanging off her shoulder, and it's just like barely. It seems just so barely.
I gotta get someone to cover my shift.
I don't got a problem. You got a problem.
My manager's a bitch.
Do you know what's weird is, this is going to be very specific, and I don't know if any of you, the shirt she wears, I think is the exact same shirt in a different color that Gale Weathers wears in Scream 5.
Oh, wow.
Because Gale wears like a short, like baby blue turquoise-ish like sweater top that has stripes here, and I just kept thinking like, oh, I think that's the same thing.
that's
Gale
Also,
said.
famously, a girly going through it.
Yeah. That's right.
I had Margo down as my favorite outfit, but I did have a second one, and it's Elliot and Mike naked in bed because they're both.
Oh.
Oh my god! All right,
great
nothing
outfit.
on but the radio.
That's
with Carlos
cheating,
over here.
Ian.
Favorite scene, Neil?
Ooh, I will also say Elliot and Mike naked in bed.
Trevor?
Elliot and Margo ribbing Todd. That one. That's the word I was looking for.
Ryan?
At the end when Margo's leaving with Todd and giving him instructions. I think that's how all men should operate, and I think he's got the right idea, and he should carry the gin.
Mine was the scene in the library where Mike is sucking on that knob. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Listen, it's like ingrained in my brain. I couldn't tell you anything else about that guy that I knew other than that. Like, I saw him in something
That guy knows
else
how
once.
to suck a knob. I bet you that was the audition.
Yeah.
Probably.
You're like, you see that door over there?
Get on FaceTime and show me every fixture in your fucking apartment right now.
I like saw him in something else. I don't remember what it was, but I just remember being like, wait, that's the guy that sucks the knob in The Magician. Like, I didn't remember anything else but that. Yeah, but I also, not to be just horny, I do also like Margot's reaction to like that whole scene when she's like, how literal, and like just like, loves it. What
she
grade
revels in the power.
She does. What grade do we give this episode, Ryan?
This episode is going to get a B from me because I read the book, so I have a deeper appreciation of what's going on, but I get it if that's not everyone's fantasy.
Neil?
I'm a B-.
All right. Trevor?
I'll say B-, yeah.
Ooh. The last few episodes, I have been the harshest grader. C+ for me. I just... the like blue of the Mayakovsky is just like a little too dull for me.
The knob didn't redeem it for you?
Owl over
here.
If we didn't have the knob, if we didn't have the like Margo and Elliot C plot or B plot, whichever grade you're going to consider it, I probably would have given this episode like a D or an F.
Yeah, if you cut half the episode out, I would give it half the grade.
So Ian. Weird how that works, Ian.
Yeah.
Listen, assholes.
You're like, if this episode was a half hour shorter and sucked.
If this was an intro sequence, I would have called it repetitive.
Fair enough. Well, thank you, assholes, for joining me. Thank you all
We love you.
listening.
We love you so much.
If you like Slayerfest 98, you can find us on all social media platforms at SlayerFestX98. You can find us on all podcasting platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, YouTube, and anywhere else. Feel free to subscribe to us and give us a good rating if you like us, and don't give us a rating if you don't like us. And you can support us on Patreon, where we are going through Buffy Season 3 as every episode turns 25. It has been real fucking fun going through that season again. We also have Harley Quinn and Firefly that we've gone through and a bunch of other shit. Any and all support is much appreciated. If you want to follow me, I am at ENXCarlos. Ryan, where can everyone find you and your things?
You can find me at Ryan Houlihan on Instagram. I am at Ryan Houlihan on Mastodon. If you know what that is, you're so cool. And I'm on YouTube, youtube.com/@Ryho, RYHO. I continue to tease this Catwoman thing that is happening, but has to be good first. So go hit subscribe and you'll see when it comes. But it's going to be so good.
Listen, by the time these episodes start dropping, it'll probably be out.
Oh, that's true.
Trevor, where can everyone find you and your things?
You can find me everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I am at Trevor Carlee on all of them. I do a bunch of Lego animations and things like that, so you can check all that out there.
They're very cool. I show them to my students. My students even recognize them from TikTok. Trevor's a big deal. Neil, where can everyone find you and your things?
You can find me on Instagram at Neil McNeil, and then on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Neil_McNeil.
All right, everyone. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.